Start the clock.
Hello, kitties. Dr. Freedom here with you. Oh, man, I had an awesome weekend. I got to interview Simon Fisher-Becker on Saturday. That video is up on the channel if you want to go take a look at it. Just short 10-minute interview, but it was a blast, getting to talk to him for a little bit. Really interesting guy. A lot of stuff on it, he's got going on right now. Let's see. Omega Files this coming weekend. Now, this last weekend we did They Live. Everybody had a lot of fun, and that's why I love, doing those, because I like sitting around talking about movies and such, with guys or, with the guys. They're really psyched for it, and I'm really hoping, they have more folks coming in for Escape from New York. And, okay, and that's going to be this weekend. Keep that in mind, Escape from New York. All right, but let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Let's get into the news. Let's get into what's happening. Let's take a look at what's going on in and around the Whooniverse. Now, first off, Doctor Who filming today took place. Alrighty. Oops, I'm on the wrong window. Okay. Thanks to this young lady right here, we found out Doctor Who filming was in Lanelid Park near Lanharan using Dragon Film Studio as a base. And that also led to this little snippet right here. Hang on. This was the only photo I found that was halfway decent. And obviously they got everything blocked off. And there's apparently, Peter Capaldi studying his lines. So who knows what's going on with that one. All right, let's get on to the news. Let's get on to the rest of the stuff. Let's take a look. Oops, sorry, I forgot to close that. All right. This weird tweet came out sometime today, or was actually later yesterday. And this is from Stewart Humphries. So if you've been to his YouTube channel, he's done like tributes to the Master, stuff like that, the Time War, and stuff like that. Really great YouTube channel, Bobble Color. All right, this weekend I've recorded an audio commentary for a Who DVD, less than a fortnight before all is revealed. But it's got to make you wonder, what DVD is it? We've already heard the Underwater Menace has been pulled off. So, I don't know. Somebody here even suggested it might be April Fool's Day prank. But I don't know. It's kind of weird, ain't it? So we'll find out about that when I'll keep my eye on, Stewart Humphries' Twitter channel here. And, hopefully we get an announcement soon on just what he's talking about. Because it is pretty intriguing, because of the Underwater Menace debacle. We know that's been pulled off the schedule, but now we got to wonder, what's this DVD that Stewart here is talking about? All right, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on that. Okay, first up on The Guardian, Armando Iannucci hopes to write Doctor Who episode. That's right, the Thick of It creator, whose credits included Alan Partridge and Veep, would like to reunite with Peter Capaldi. Armando Iannucci, the creator of The Thick of It, hopes to write an episode of Doctor Who reuniting him with its star, Peter Capaldi. Now, Iannucci, whose credits include Alan Partridge and the White House comedy Veep, said he talked with Doctor Who showrunner Stephen Moffat and had a good idea where he would take the Doctor, played to universal acclaim by Capaldi since last year. He would join a long list of famous writers on the BBC One show, which in recent years has included Richard Curtis, Neil Gaiman, and Simon Nye. He goes, quote, "I'm a big fan of Doctor Who, and obviously with Peter, who's loving it, it would be nice to. I've spoken off and on to them, but it's a case of being able to fit something in. It's a nice thought," end quote. Iannucci helped make Capaldi a household name for his role as the foul-mouthed spin Dr. Malcolm Tucker in The Thick of It, which came to an end on BBC Two in 2012. In an interview with The Guardian, Iannucci said, quote, "In our conversations, there was an idea we had, but it may be a wee while yet before we get around to working out when it would be. Knowing I am committed for the next year or so, it's still on hold. Let's get back in touch when we can," end quote. With negotiations around the renewal of the BBC's charter and its future funding due to begin after the general election in May, Iannucci also said the BBC should bite the bullet and accept the license fee, as was coming to an end. Quote, "I reckon in 10 years the license fee will be gone. This generation, there have been several generations, just don't watch television in a traditional way," end quote. He said there was something contemptuous about David Cameron's attitude to the TV leader debates, comparing him to a petulant child who doesn't want to do his homework, coming up with more and more excuses as to why it can't happen. I kind of half take his point, that these leader debates turn into the main thing, and it kind of detracts from the rest. But if what you are saying is I don't want to discuss my politics during general election campaign to as wide an audience as possible, then you don't really deserve to be in politics, end quote. And he goes on to say here that he'd like to make another film 6 years after the thick of it, spinoff In the Loop. Although it did not be based on politics, he's exploring a comedy based around people's relationship with social media. He also said, quote, the more you look at the world of politics, the more you realize how limited political power is. Companies like Google and Facebook have a much greater influence over individuals, and that just intrigues me. The way the crowd can suddenly turn nasty and ugly within minutes of something happening is an interesting idea. It's like an infection or a mass hysteria. It's kind of spooky. Okay, next up, Wendy Padbury would kill for a one line with Peter Capaldi, and that's over on Casturberus. Sorry about that, folks. There we go. Sorry, I was getting some noise from the other room. See, this is my door closer when I'm okay. All right. Wendy Padbury would kill for one line with Peter Capaldi. Wendy Padbury, best known to Doctor Who fans for her role as Zoe Harriet, companion to the second Doctor. Now, Zoe was a scientist from the far future. She was young, intelligent, more than capable of handling herself in a fight, thus making herself quite a bit different from a lot of the previous female companions. Alongside Jamie McCrimmon, she fought the Cybermen, the Dominators, and the many other nasty critters. These days, she's also playing Zoe for Big Finish Audio. Now, Casturberus recently called up with Miss Padbury, and she kind of gave an interview. If you want, here's the interview right here. And why am I loving this shot? Oh, sorry. Okay. So if you want to go read this, nice little kind interview there with Wendy Padbury. Still has that nice, cute little face so many years on. All righty. Moving on from that. But me personally, I don't know. See, Zoe Harriet's kind of a tricky subject because, the way the character's been handled, I like the way they're doing it in Big Finish, but also keep in mind that when she left the second Doctor, it was because of the whole, war games thing, and she had her memory erased. So it could be a nifty, tricky thing, pop in on her, in the far, far future, when Wendy Padbury, with her current age, playing Zoe at, at that age, who knows? But like I said, that's up to the guys who run the show. All righty. Next up, John Nathan Turner on the bus shortlist. I thought for a second when I first read this statement he was on the short bus, but sadly, he passed away a while ago. Long time ago, actually. All right, Brighton and Hove Council are asking members of the public to decide if one of the city's new buses should be named after former Doctor Who producer John Nathan Turner. The South Coast Resort is to acquire 24 new coaster buses and has been asking for nominations for names for the new vehicles. Over 100 suggestions have been made so far. The council has selected 15 names to be revealed at a future date. Now, the names for the remaining 9 buses will be selected by public vote, with former resident John Nathan Turner making one of the short lists. 8 names are on the list, and most popular 2 will be given to one of the new buses. Now, Nathan Turner was the producer of Doctor Who from 80 until he ran it into the ground in 1989, and he's competing against a number of other local dignitaries for the honor. Voting can be done online. There's a little thing you can click on here. Closing date is, of course, this coming Wednesday at noon. So get in there and vote if you want to name a bus after John Nathan Turner. Maybe they'll dress it up in a Hawaiian shirt style paint. All right. Next up, Legacy new adventure to be announced to mark the 10th anniversary of the relaunch of Doctor Who on March 26th. The hit mobile game Doctor Who Legacy will be releasing a new adventure called Bigger on the Inside. Bigger on the Inside is a new 8-bit pixelated adventure with artwork by Nathan Skreslet of Pixel Who and a wholly original storyline by Lee Cummings. Now, the storyline is the first arc for the series, which kicks off with all incarnations of the Doctor present. It sees the TARDIS-centered guest thrown into danger as a virus invades her systems. The story will see individual arcs for the 10th, 1st, 4th, 9th, and War Doctors, but they all will have their own chance to face up against the mastermind behind the plot, which they're trapped in. Doctor Who Legacy is the mobile game based on Doctor Who, which is now approaching 2 million downloads. The new adventure will be released on the eve of the 10th anniversary of the screening of Rose. Well, jumping on over to Blogger, the Doctor Who Figurine Collection. That's right, the latest issues of the magazine, the Doctor Who Figurine Collection, are hitting shops now. Issue 42 comes with a figurine of the Pteroleptal from the Visitation, while 43 features a Rusty the Dalek from Into the Dalek. And if you want to go check these out, you can click on these to get full-size images. The Pteroleptals were actually a pretty decent suit for that era. It was a really well done costume. Um, really, really sinister fellas. But and they do get little mentions here and there, I think in Big Finish and whatnot. I could have swore we heard something about pterodactyls not too long ago on the main show. And of course, there's Rusty in all his Rusty glory, who was named after Russell T Davies. It was his nickname. Okay, also on Blogger, if you want, here's a guide to Series 9. There are no plot spoilers here, as he says. And what you want to do is if you want to go check out some of the latest stuff, you can scroll through here. Here's the episode guide for what they have so far. Now, as far as we know, that's one thing they brought up, and I should have brought it up. What they're filming now, they're in the beginning of Block 3. They're filming Episode 5, which so far is looking to be a standalone episode. We don't have a name, a title, or anything like that as yet. We already know that there was filming done at Margam Castle. And, of course, here's pictured on set by a fan that was, of course, our friend Stephen Price. And, by the way, you wouldn't believe the amount of Photoshop edits that have been done on his photos in Facebook this last week. I died laughing because Stephen Price, he's about my size, a rather large guy. This little skinny little dude tried to edit his photo over Stephen Price in the photo so he could be standing with Capaldi. Oh my gosh! All I can say is this: the end result looked like something that would happen if Macaulay Culkin had relations with a Sontaran. Okay, I'm not going to show you the photo or anything like that because that would be a whole privacy thing, and I don't want to do that. All right. Okay. Next up, on the Radio Times, Doctor Who fans to be set a computer challenge in the Series 9. BBC will get a viewers of the show to devise a computer program based on what takes place on the screen. Now, Doctor Who fans, get your laptops ready and put your thinking caps on. The BBC's new computer awareness movement, Make It Digital, is to set the more iterate of its viewers a new challenge which will involve watching the next series and then going off and designing a special computer program based on the much-loved drama. Now, details are still being kept under wraps, but the BBC's creative director, Alan Yentob, has told the Radio Times that, quote, Stephen Moffat is on board, and that, as far as he is aware, the challenge is being worked into the scripts for the next series. Now, a statement said, quote, the aim is to encourage and celebrate fan creativity and showcase some of our audience's amazing user-generated content that has gathered millions of views online and has even made it onto the show. More details will be announced in due course, end quote. Now, the move follows October's launch of The Doctor and the Dalek, a game which aimed to introduce computing skills. Oh, that's right. That's one of them. Yeah, that just came out earlier this year. Or, sorry, end of last year. I can't remember. Sorry. Which aimed to introduce computing skills to children as they help the Doctor on his latest adventure. Voiced by Peter Capaldi, the game saw the 12th Doctor thrown into a dangerous quest in a story devised by Doctor Who and Wizards vs. Aliens writer Phil Ford. The Make It Digital initiative is a partnership with Google, Microsoft, and Samsung that also sees a distribution of around 1 million microbit coding devices to every 11-year-old in the country. And lastly for today, Douglas Adams' Doctor Who script is going to be turned into a novel. That's right, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy author wrote City of Death starring Tom Baker in 1979. It will now be extended by writer James Goss. This episode is an awesome one. If you've not seen City of Death, I do highly recommend it. It is one of the classic episodes of the Tom Baker era, with Julian Glover, Catherine Schell hopping on for the adventure. And it's just incredible story. I still enjoy watching City of Death every now and then. And, of course, the beautiful Lalla Ward as the second incarnation of Romana. Awesome stuff. Oh, well. Like I said, it was a crazy, crazy weekend. I got to interview Simon Fisher-Becker, which was a thrill. Oh, man, I was so nervous it wasn't even funny. But, we had a great time. Looking forward to maybe having him back on in the future. Also, I've got some other irons still in the fire. I'm still fishing around. Someone goes, are you going to do this type of thing again? I go, oh, hell yeah. If I can get, any particular guest, who's been on the show or anything like that, been affiliated with it, to sit down for an interview, or even hopefully maybe even pop up for a podcast with the guys where we can sit down, have a handful of us come in for a Q&A, I'll happily do it. Oh, well, guys, keep in mind, Omega Files this weekend, Escape from New York. It's going to be the second, John Carpenter series, and I hope everybody enjoys watching those. I know it's not Doctor Who, but you know what? I do those for the fun of it. It's just, we're killing time. because there's no real big Doctor Who news. The series is not probably due back to like the end of August, early September. And this is our way of, sitting down and having a little fun on the weekends as we endure the long wait for Series 9. Well, until next time, guys, catch you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.